246. However, as we know from talking to the B team earlier, who made up 70 points to win their game, nothing's impossible with 30 minutes on the board.
Not at all. Plenty of time for Brew City to get back into this. They will need a little bit more love from their jammers, though. Storming the Castle, their lead scorer with only 15 points. Sharkira keeping pace with 13, but Lady Hoo-Ha and Mouse pacing the Dairyland Owls. Mouse has 38 points. Lady Hoo-Ha with 21, and we're off and running.
Yeah, we've got Lady Hoo-Ha out there right now. Skittle's going to be out there for the Bruisers. And right there, the front blockers do a nice job, but they get forced beyond that 20-foot mark where they have to let the jammer go. I say we let him go.
2 points for Brew City at the end there, 1 for Dairyland, so.
And to quote John Lovitz, that would be more, wouldn't it?
Positive result for Brew City. We'll see if they can maybe use that as a little bit of a spark here. Hazen Cantus jamming for her first time in this bout here in the second half.
I love that name.
It's pretty excellent. She's up against Scooter though. Scooter drafting the other way meet up front, but runs into a 3-wall that she is still trying to claw her way past and does so for Brew City.
Scooter is out in your lead jammer.
A lead jammer with a power jam as Hastings Cantus already chilling out in jammer jail.
There we go. I tell ya, there's another one of those moves by Scooter that it's sideways, backwards, whatever, but she sticks the landing every time.
The other white meat takes a seat, so blockers advantage to Dairyland, but still with the Brew City Bruisers putting the brakes on, it forces a no-pack situation, another 5 points.
And of course, for those of you who either seen Scooter or haven't seen Scooter for a while or haven't seen her at all, this is the kind of skating that we have seen her grow into in this last year. Her tenacity is unmatched.
She just gets a skate knocked out of bounds and it's just enough to recycle her back. And Coach Chad screaming at her to call it after picking up another 5.
I think he's going to be a lot more horse than you and I will be. I think the one thing they forgot to tell him was screaming at the track during a game, nobody hears it. I've tried.
I just got 2 words for him, throat coat. Throat coat.
Hope he doesn't have a radio show.
Pack floats up near the pivot line. It's the first time I've said pivot line.
I know. Quick, sell a sponsorship. And then we see
Hazy Cantus, lead jammer. And both teams now at full strength as Meany's back on. And Hazy Cantus is going to call it after picking up 1. That's just enough to keep their lead.
Yeah, you know, there's a number of noticeable differences between a team that's played together for a while and a team that hasn't. And, you know, the one thing I've always said is that when you can hear a team screaming at each other, that's probably the team that's going to win because of the communication. And I tell you, they do a really nice job of that. Thrill Show, a couple others out there, Cheryl's really barking, which is what needs to happen.
Oh, Brew City with another lead jam. This time it's Frank Herner, number 216, with Magic Missile. A rare instance where Magic Missile is not lead, but she is in hot pursuit.
No, I believe that's Frank, I don't jam Herner.
Well,
Frank, I'm not a jammer.
Well, she was jammer enough to pick up 1 point to Magic Missile zilch there to make it 127-64 Dairyland.
I know she loves it when I say that. Luckily, she rarely noticed it.
All right, Scooter versus Mouse behind the Triple M 105.5 FM jammer line. That's a real mouthful for a jammer line. Mouse up front trying to force the Brew City Bruisers out of the zone of engagement, and she breaks through.
And again, you know, if there's anything that Mouse, you know, you'd say, what would Mouse ever need to improve on? But the one thing she's doing so much better than ever is working these walls and getting through them that used to trap her. Not to mention the moves right there were pretty sweet.
Who gets this crowd fired up like Mouse? Nobody.
Nobody. Well, maybe Lady Hula.
By the way, I want to thank Dairyland for that milk break. That was outstanding. It's calcium rich.
At first, I was a little concerned. Anytime you see a guy in big overalls with a cooler shouting out at the crowd.
Well, it's not like he had a chainsaw with him.
You never know what's next, but he handed me a milk, so that was good. That's a little misbehaving. Little misbehaving, who got a pair of skates for her birthday one year, heard about the Mad Rollin Dolls, tried out, made the league, and I remember talking to her as she was watching an interleague bout to find out it was the first bout she had ever seen, having not played yet, in her first bout the next month. It was destiny.
You might be able to tell from the crowd, Lady Hoo-Ha is out there and in front, trying to make her way through a Brew City wall, and will do so. Pack resets as she rockets around the track, and Frank Herder has a lot of track to make up right now as no resistance for Lady Hoo-Ha around the inside. Really caught, I don't know if they caught Brew City napping or if Dairyland just had them just strong-armed to the outside.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it was more of the latter than the former.
I think I'm right. I think you're right.
But yeah, with Lady Hoo-Ha coming through unabated through that third and fourth turn, Sarakura able to at least land a block on her, but that's going to be pretty hard at that speed difference.
Magic Missile now, she is actually the one leading all scorers right now with 50 points. She is out there in back of the pack. Missed her numbers earlier. But it is Scooter out front, lead jammer for Brew City. And Scooter with a little apex hop will pick up 4. Magic Missile will get 1, upping her total to 51, and Scooter now with 28 points this bout. Brings it to 68 for Brew City.
Well, I tell you, when you really enjoy the game the way that we do, you get to a point where you start to watch each jam like it's its own game. And you really see, what we're really seeing is some amazing, I think, individual plays by Brew City. A couple of really good team plays, but real consistent chemistry among Dairyland Dolls.
Absolutely.
Defensively, that's made such a big difference.
It shut Brew City down in the early goings. Once again, Dairyland started this off with a 40-0 run. Now nursing a 71-point advantage.
Oh! Nikki couldn't get her out of Unbelievable. Even Nikki's mad about that. I mean, for all intents and purposes, looked like she had all the leverage on her. But that's what we talked about with Castle, is we don't really know how she gets through half of that. She just makes it happen.
We call it the Trojan rabbit maneuver. We really don't know what it is, but
yeah, it's not something that you can teach. Well, misbehaving, I think, kind of surprised at the attack that she got from Feisty Fister.
No pack situation, but Brew City still bumping in. It's a little misbehaving, but she finally goes through. And Frank Herder having her issues with the Dairyland Dolls right now. She tried grabbing Feisty to get a little bit of a trap from her, but she ended up just leveling her own teammate.
I tell you, Tilo just put a little misbehavior down on the ground.
Not too much difficulty there to rack up another 5-point grand slam for Dairyland.
Well, one thing you and I both know is that from a pure talent standpoint, Milwaukee is steeped with blockers. When they gel, the defense is striking.
It's true. They just need to gel a little more often sometimes.
Well, that's all part of the process.
Absolutely.
And going into this year, I think that's something that they're aware of. There's a lot of nice little victories coming out of this already.
And as we said, yeah, they're dealing with a little bit of turnover, and you can see the chemistry gelling during the course of this bout.
Well, I think you get to a point where you hit a level and you peak, and you're not happy enough just regaining that. And sometimes you have to tear down to get better again.
That's right.
Oh, Lady Hua, nice counter block on Sharkira. Sharkira, for a tall blocker, can get down very low. Lady Hua still able to out-leverage her.
And an illegal forearm by Scooter makes this a power jam for Lady Hoo-Ha. Dairyland is going to start pouring it on here. Woo-ha!
Nice job by Latina.
Oh, yeah, nice work there.
Talk about dance moves.
And she actually leads Hoo-Ha right into a block by Irish Vixen. That was pretty, that was more the chemistry that we were talking about coming together here. Ivy lobbying for a track cut. Lady Hoo-Ha's got to come back in behind her.
Yeah, it Thrill Show, I think, smart to decide to go through and try to break it up. Oh. That's a clockwise block. There's no question about that.
Ivy knew it too as soon as she saw the call. She was like, yeah, you're right. Timeout called by Brew City. They're going to talk this over, especially with tons of bodies in the penalty box right now. This is not a good situation for them. So what are you doing after the bout tonight, Bob? What do you got planned?
Always ask me questions when I got in my mouth. I'm going to the after party, and you should as well. That's going to be over at the VFW right across the street on Lake Street. Immediately following.
Nice. The party never stops at the final whistle. You just got to go down the street.
The VFW will never be the same.
So 158-72, the penalties by far benefiting the Dairyland Dolls. Other white meat actually right now with 5 penalties and 5 trips to the box. She's got the most of anybody. Scooter still leading all Brew City Bruisers with 28 points, but Magic Missile and Mouse with 51 and 42 respectively. Lady Hoo-Ha in third on her team with 36. And again, lead scorer on the BCB All-Stars is Scooter, who would, she'd be like a 4th leading scorer on Dairyland right now. Magic Missile pouring on more points to her total as she goes to the inside, runs into a wall of 2. couple maneuvers, she finally gets past and rocks up another grand slam for Dairyland. And they are threatening to go up an even 100 points on Brew City at this point.
Well, I think Nikki went knocking on Feisty Fister's door. Got it slammed back.
Scooter manages to pick up 2 before the last whistle blows. But Dairyland now with a 97-point advantage. Yeah, show some love for your team. They're pouring it on right now.
I think we've got ourselves the battle of I-94. Gotta have a name.
Cheese is giving it to beer pretty hard right now, I know that much.
Oh, Jesus.
That's how they advertised it. Oh, Cheese, it's Mouse in the lead of Lee Jammer. Storming the castle, having her issues with Mac the Knife, but she finally gets through.
She's like a weevil. You know, how are you gonna knock her over? I mean, seriously. And of course, we want to say thank you to the Mad Rollin Dolls for having us out.
It's great to be here from Milwaukee, feeling the love in Madison. Always love being here at the Expo Center, calling the action.
And of course, we would invite you all to come see us next Friday.
That's right. Our home season continues next Friday at the U.S. Cellular Arena in Milwaukee.
Friday night, doors at 6, action at 7. And you will, I believe the dulcet tones will be provided by myself.
That's right.
All right.
Will misbehaving lead jammer for the Dairyland Dolls as Frau Kapow continues to have her issues with Hello Sailor and Hazen Cattoos. And that's going to be a power jam, cutting the track by Frau Kapow.
I saw nothing. I heard nothing.
Oh, man!
There we go.
What a toe stop! That was impressive as hell.
I think she stopped on toe stops while leaning backwards. I don't think that's possible.
Man.
It's always fun when somebody totally defies the law of physics. We'll have to do like what the Olympics did and have a science section.
Oh, there you go. That's a great idea.
Except that couldn't probably be explained.
Let's not have the announcer pink eye, though. I could do without that.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh, Hazen getting her,
Little misbehaving, got caught misbehaving. And she's gonna sit down for a minute. And
that brings out Frau Kapow.
all of a sudden track starting to fill up with skaters again. I tell you, Dynamite just laying here.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I just call it the vaccinator because you know every time you know you're gonna get a shot.
All right, that's the end of that jam. One more point for Brew City. They get to 76 now against the 189 for Dairyland. They are knocking on the door of 200 points here.
Well, regardless of the outcome, I look at this and see a lot of little victories. And of course, it doesn't hurt to have a game behind you with some statistics and some other things.
Absolutely.
Start finding out who works well together. Obviously, Nikki and Mac, the way they work together out on the track wasn't just random. And as a coach, you start to determine your players that can play together like that. Yeah. But it takes a while.
Frank Herder gets enough of that power jam to get lead jammer status as Little Misbehavin' comes back out. And now it's a scrum. both teams at full strength here and both having their way with the jammers as Little Miss Haven finally gets through. That's her initial pass, no points. And that'll be it, 4 points for Brew City.
And let's make some noise for Milwaukee for coming out. Huh?
Yeah, come on, show Brew City some love.
Yeah, exactly. And we cordially invite you to the U.S. Cellular Arena anytime. Well, we prefer you come when we're there.
The the Man Rollin Dolls were the Brew City Bruisers WFTDA sponsor, were they not? A lot of history between these two.
You know,
or was it Windy City?
I couldn't tell. I honestly couldn't tell you for certain. I'm not actually. I'm not even sure that a formal mentorship program was in place at that time. But I couldn't be wrong.
Well, forget everything I just said then.
No, but you make an excellent point. There's a huge difference. It's like Brew is going to find out.
Right.
There's a huge difference in starting up a league when you have the backing of people who are willing to come out.
That's absolutely true.
And teach you and show you things that starting a league is starting a business.
But you know, if you're going to start a league anywhere, start it in Wisconsin where there are so many tenured leagues already here. You've got the two oldest ones here, but you've also got the Fox Cities Foxes up in Green Bay, the Paper Valley Roller Girls. The Mid-State Sisters of State, Chocolate City is in this state.
Chocolate City's gone.
Well, they were here for a little while.
Dairyland is gone.
That's why I haven't heard from them in a while.
That's why we've got Melancholy.
Yep. Scooter with a little bit through.
Scooter, that probably being the most effortless lap she's had to make all night. Oh, I tell you, nobody calls off the other white meat.
No.
She plays till the whistles.
That's right. But another 4 points for Magic Missile. Give it up for Magic Missile. She scored 68 points in this bout so far. She is leading all scorers.
Yes, amazing job.
To give a little perspective here, Lady Hoo-Ha is the fourth leading scorer on the Dairyland Dolls with 36. Scooter is leading Brew City with 30 right now.
Well, you know, I think a lot of it comes down. What would be interesting would be to see the overall lead jam percentage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we obviously know that has a lot to do with it.
Well, again, it was only in the second half that we started seeing Magic Missile not get lead jam here or there. Yeah, in 12 jams, Magic Missile has had lead jam 8 times. That's a 67% lead percentage.
Yeah, Mouse was 78%. And only one jammer for the Dairyland Dolls under 50%. So that's definitely where they're taking it. That's definitely one of the big things that Milwaukee's taking on the chin.
And again, a lot of those lead jam percentages have been because of the blocking communication by Dairyland, the ability to go in there and disrupt and spring their jammers free. Although it really doesn't hurt when you've got jammers like Lady Hoo-Ha and Mouse out there. An illegal forearm though takes Lady Hoo-Ha out of the action.
But as much as you want to, as much as the jammers are always very celebrated, defense wins the games.
Absolutely, 100%.
And that's why we say we don't know how Stormin DeCastle really does what she does. We're just glad she does. It's not pretty, it's not artistic, it's just effective. As Trish the Dish once told me, I couldn't teach somebody how to skate, but I can teach them how to play roller derby.
She came in front of two teammates. That's a track cut. Stormin DeCastle will sit. Yeah, that was actually really cool hearing the referees communicate that right in front of us, Bob. We're not this close to them in Milwaukee.
No, that's because they'd hurt us. Yeah, again, that's a testament. Oh, Mac with a big hit.
Just to give some of the...
Oh my, there's an Irish Vixen saying hello.
To give some of the new Derby people here a little explanation of why Stormin DeCastle is in the box. She got bumped out of bounds, but the Dairyland doll who knocked her out of bounds was on the ground and out of play. So normally, legally, she could come back in, so that's why she came back into bounds. But you also can get called for cutting if you come in front of multiple members of your own team, and that's what happened.
Yeah, that was actually a well done, interesting discussion. Like you said, you don't usually get. It's like microphoning.
Sounds of the game.
We probably couldn't hear much of that.
And the other white meat has now taken 7 trips to the penalty box. That's why you see her skating to the locker room. After 7, you are fouled out of the game. So great job by the other white meat, but she's going to sit for the next 7 minutes.
Well, you know what? It's not a great job. Your job is to be out on the track.
That's a good point.
I mean,
she made the penalties count is what I'm saying.
I can't help it. I think
You think like a coach, absolutely.
Your job is to do your job and to do it throughout 60 minutes. And obviously I love her to death, and that's not. But that is reality. And that is something that Milwaukee is facing. This has been a perennial issue for a number of players. So, and again, that comes down to chemistry.
Yep.
You've got too many. I think you get too many people trying to make that play that somebody else isn't making, and you overtry.
An illegal forearm takes Mouse out for a rare penalty, and she is. We can't repeat what Mouse said.
It was, wow. We've got like the best seat in the house tonight.
And again, you gotta love that. Her team's up by 104 points, and she is still livid that she got what she thinks was a bum call. But regardless, an illegal forearm sends her out, and a power jam for Brew City and Frank Herter. A multiplayer block sends Alligator out.
Yeah, that's a good call. And that is one of those calls that, not reflective of this Drew, but I think of Derby all over the place, is not called enough.
Well, I think we would both agree that with the current Derby rule set, with all these stopped packs during power jams, you probably see a lot of calls that maybe should be called, but they're kind of judgment calls, especially with no minors anymore. I think that's a big part of it too, is whether or not like that multiplayer block is really impacting the game.
Not only that, but when you have a lot of minors around, it makes dating a lot more difficult. And there goes Scooter Hazelton too, is off the line. Good BCB chant going on in the corner. Scooter's going to get run out of bounds. In the meantime, Hazelton and Kadu is being bagered.
And Scooter's still skating hard, just like the rest of the Brew City Bruiser All-Stars. Currently with a 4-on-2 blocker advantage, and Hayes will call it off. Scooter not quite getting there in time to pick up any points. It's 0-0, and a timeout called by the Dairyland Dolls. They're going to talk a couple things over here.
What? I have no idea.
99, you're sitting on a 99-point lead. It's pretty good. Again, thanks to all our sponsors, Ale Asylum, Vintage Brewing Company, Roman Candle Pizza, Planned Parenthood, The Malt House, Triple M 105.5 FM.
I know, I'm a Plan B.
I'm passing my annual vision exam right now.
You know what? I want to extend a big thank you to Hinkley Productions.
You know they are.
Hinkley Productions has probably done more for roller derby in the Midwest or in the country than just about anybody. Natalie Hinkley has stuck with us in Madison and around the country. And I tell you, we really appreciate all the work that her and her crew does. Thank you.
Storming the castle on the outside, tries to take it in and goes back to the outside, gets past it. Heck of a lead jam establishment there by Storming the castle.
And I think what's really interesting about Milwaukee's younger jammers is our two best young jammers are obviously Quebeca and Storm the Castle, and their styles in many ways are very similar.
Indeed.
It's just kind of like sheer determination
It really
and
is.
some odd magnetism to the ground that keeps them standing. We have Magic Missile going to step up against number 56.
That is Frakapow.
Proud Kapow. I see. And next time I would Tina Heat moving some of the blocking out of the way, that's going to open things up for Proud Kapow.
Magic Missile now getting jostled by the Brew City Bruisers up front. And Frakapow gets nudged out of bounds. She gets recycled in back of the pad.
Outside the zone of engagement.
Yep. That's Puss in Boots taking a seat for Brew City. And the Brew City Bruisers pass the century mark here as we get close to the 2-minute point in this second half. 194-102 right now. Both teams now in triple digits. Timeout called again by Dairyland, and that is going to be their final timeout.
And of course, we'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Want to remind you once again, if you haven't had your derby fix yet, you come see us next Friday night, downtown Milwaukee. Game starts at 7 o'clock at the U.S. Cellular Arena.
If we could drive the hour and a half here, you can drive the hour and a half to Milwaukee. It's only fair.
Not even that.
It's not even really. Not when you're going 80 like me.
Yeah. It doesn't take you near that time as long as you don't get caught.
That's right. But yeah, we're going to have great home season derby action at the U.S. Cellular Arena in downtown Milwaukee next Friday.
In fact, 4 teams.
The Dairyland Dolls are challenging the out-of-play call on their jammer.
We're totally not used to that whole mic in the middle of the track thing. It's really awesome, and we really enjoy it. But
I think we were kind of tricked because it didn't happen the first game.
yeah,
That was supposed to be the practice.
like we're saying, US Cellular Arena, Milwaukee, next Friday. Come check it out.
And of course, I'd also like to remind you that Madison will play their next bout on March 15th.
Right here, March 15th, more home season action.
I believe, you would have to check, but I do believe that'll be in the Coliseum.
This all makes our job way much easier because we can just shut up and let you guys work. It's awesome.
Yeah. I've totally run out of words and energy. But we find them very amusing.
Oh boy. At least 3 people in the crowd get my pop culture references.
After review, the call has been overruled. The blue jammer was given a penalty for engaging out of play. However, the skater she had engaged had already been sent off the track for a penalty. Therefore, D4 did not engage illegally and will be removed from the box. Her penalty will be removed.
Okay, well there you go.
Well, that's an interesting scenario, but the thing about that challenge is that they actually had a point of reference to give to it.
That's true.
And I think that makes a big difference. And we're going to see from I Am Not a Jammer Herder up against Mouse.
Frank Herder out front. She is lead jam. She got lead jammer over Mouse. You want to talk about small victories for Brew City? That's actually pretty significant.
And
oh, wow.
well, it's going to get sent off one more time. And we know that Mouse gets hot under the collar. There's really no point in getting ejected.
A 5-point grand slam for Brew City and Frank Herter. Smack the knife to Darling Nikki up front and giving chase, but she breaks through for another 5 points. That's 10 on this run for Frank Herter.
Well, I tell you, Shakira there with just a good enough pick to help Frank.
Oh, nice
move by
move.
Frank. Flunk with nice move.
The outcome might be pretty much set, but we're still seeing some excellent skating by both teams here in the late goings.
Well, and you know, for as hard as these teams have been hitting each other, it's really been a strong sense of professionalism.
Yeah.
And we've got a timeout called, and that's going to go Brew City's way.
And that will give us one more jam and one more opportunity for Brew City to put some more points on in the late goings of this contest. Frank Herter got herself up to 30 points total for the bout and that run.
Nice job.
And she came in with 10 on that. She picked up 20. What they said.
Give me my panty back. The helmet cover, previously known as a helmet panty, it turns out I just had such a hard time giving up. And for me, I think it really all goes back to raising Arizona and the line, son, you got a panty on you.
Power jam for Brew City is over as Mouse is back on the track and Scooter is still, gets knocked out of bounds, and look at Mouse race to the front. She's actually going to be lead jammer
and look at the little Mouse moving around.
And that's going to do it. Mouse calls the jam.
Congratulations to your Dairyland Dolls. They come out of the box for the season looking pretty sharp. Some nice victories, I think, for Brew City. We saw some nice performance, some nice individual performances there.
Very entertaining game, very entertaining bout from both these two teams. Give it up for your victorious Dairyland Dolls, Madison. We'll see you back here on March 15th, and we'll see you shortly at the after party.
That's right.